Yeah.
Did you just flip me the bird?
I know it looked like it. I even thought that too, but I was like this. So it's actually my pointer. I know. I even thought that. I was like, that looked risky. I don't do that. I would say the word over flip you off.
Are you not a fan of Costco travel? I'm sorry.
No, you know I am. I swear. Hello and welcome to our 8th episode of Little Did I Know. I am your host, Stephanie Parks.
And I am your other host, Shauna Zolman-Mahaley. Little Did I Know is a place where two friends share our journeys through life, the good and the bad, while never losing our laughter.
If you want to hear more episodes, you can find us at stephandshauna.com or at Little Did I Know on Facebook and Instagram. For this week's fun fact, I am super excited about it. And when I read it, it actually took me a couple times to go, is this a fun fact or am I mad about this? So I am just using it as a caveat for you. You know that I am all about anti-aging, right?
I do. I know that.
It's my job. It's what I do. I love it. And I am here for beauty secrets. I like that. However, I have some strong feelings and opinions, which was, clearly stated last week.
What?
So I know this fun fact kind of goes in there on the heels of opinions as well.
Okay.
So we also know that the Kardashians are influencers far and wide. And if you were to ask me if I'm Team Kardashian, I'm going to say negative. Negative.
Ditto.
And today's fun fact falls into this. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. So Kim Kardashian is sharing her beauty secret with the world.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm on pins and needles.
I know. I understand. And her beauty secret is she's not smiling. That's her.
How?
That is her.
What?
That is her beauty secret is she is not going to smile. She said that she saw a picture of her. She didn't like the way that she looked. So she decided to avoid laugh lines and lines on her face. She's just not gonna smile.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't want laugh lines. Oh, screw you, man. I want laugh lines. I want crow's feet. I want all of those terms that are not, that's kind of degrading, maybe to some people, but that to me says character. That says, hey, you have a sense of humor.
A couple things. One, Kanye is clearly on this well, too. Like, I am definitely not a Kanye fan, like, ever.
You got a butt up his butt.
If you look at him, he doesn't smile either. So they're clearly, like, both of them drinking this dumb Kool-Aid. But they're also parents. You have children. You have a baby. Like, how do you not smile? Like, we need to be really concerned about these West kids that are growing up without people smiling at them.
Here, let's role play. Mom,
Okay.
Mom, I heard the funniest story that I came from school. Can I tell it to you?
Can't wait to hear it. So I am all about, like, anti-aging skincare. I like injections. I get all of that. I love it. I really do. But you want to know what I'm going to do? I am going to smile and I am going to laugh. You better believe it.
That's why I love you.
I know. I could not. So this fun fact comes with the whole thing of a big opinion that I don't like it at all.
Well, we agree on this one, my friend. We are not so different on this opinion.
High five.
Like, boink. Well, this week we are doing a topic on vacation and travel. Little did I know, this is actually from my brother. When I kind of like loved it, I laughed and then I hated him right afterwards because he thinks I'm a professional vacationer. So little did I know.
Well, if the shoe fits, ma'am.
Little did I know that I would be a professional vacationer. But spring fever is at an all-time high between the two of us. Maybe more so for one of us than the other, depending on where we're living. We've survived these massive Maya storms, the polar vortexes, and decades of old snowfall records. That'll preach right there.
That's bananas.
We've shoveled our fair share of snow, might or might not have a back issue because of it, and quite simply, we are over it.
Yes.
One of us is busy making babies, or trying to at least. And the other is perfecting her butter rum recipes. Ooh. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk vacations and travel because little did we know how much we enjoy it.
Well, I got my first taste of Wanderlust in 2010 when I started traveling for my job. It was the very first time I ever traveled alone. And oh boy, was that a learning curve. I was able to not only visit amazing cities, but also invest in the people, which is truly my very favorite thing to do. So if you've listened to last week's podcast, you are now well aware that we have some very strong opinions, and it was not limited just to those categories. So this week, we're going to be discussing all things vacation and travel. Included in this podcast will be our tips and tricks, so take notes. And as always, please send us your favorites, or if by happenstance you disagree with any of our opinions, send those to us too. We are here for it.
All right, our first topic in this whole vacation travel genre that we're doing today, I think the first couple of questions or 3 topics that we want to cover are your top 3 vacation travels and your bottom 3 vacation travels. So this could be experiences, this could be places, you name it, but just give me your top 3.
Okay.
And then your bottom 3.
All right. So my very first top favorite place that I've ever traveled to would be China. We adopted Tatum there. I climbed the Great Wall, went to Tiananmen Square. We just did all of the sights and sounds, and I also met my daughter there. So China is my all-time favorite. Fun fact about China, we were in Tiananmen Square, and this was in 2006. So it's been, I mean, Tate's, she just turned 13. She was a baby. But we had people following us and asking to take a picture with me. And I had blonde hair, and it was so humid. It was curly, so it was kind of big curly hair. And it was super hot, so I was in a tank top. And so a blonde girl with big boobs is just not what you see in China all the time. And so I don't know. It was so silly. But loved China. China would be all-time favorite. And when I asked Tate if she wanted to go back to do a homeland tour, she said no, she'd rather go to Paris. So totally have taken the Chinese out of her, which is unpleasant. And so the other one is Tatum and I just took a week in San Diego, and we stayed on site on the resort at the Hotel del Coronado. And we had a corner suite, we had a private cabana, and it was just she and I. And it was right before Tucker left for college, right before we moved, and really combined lives that we have now. And it was delightful. It was so, so great. And those memories are amazing. And we rented bikes, she and I did. And we were super, what's the word? Energetic, overachievers when we first started. And we rode 7 miles out and stopped and turned around and realized that the wind was at our back. And so when we had to drive in, she was not happy. She asked me twice to pull over and get an Uber. I was like, well, most Ubers here are Prius, and so I don't know where we're going to put the bike. So we got to keep pedaling, and she was not happy. You know what? This might surprise you, but I love traveling to Seattle.
Yay!
I love it. Yes, I love it. The kids and I rented an Airbnb, and we stayed in Edmonds in the Bowl. Mm-hmm. And we found our favorite donut. We rode the ferry. We hiked. Paddleboarded and kayaked. And I love Seattle. It is just one of those places that I love.
Well,
so those are my top 3.
Okay, neighbor.
Neighbor.
My top 3, I'm going to actually create my own rules here and just keep it to 2 because I have a lot. My first one is Turkey. Whether it's Istanbul, which is probably the most beautiful place city-wise that I've ever seen. And it blows your mind because it's not 2 countries, it's in 2 continents, right? It's where Europe and Asia meet. But you have like the city structures, you have the history, you have the mountains, you have the water. It's just mind blowing. But then it has also so much biblical history, which I find extremely interesting. So all throughout Turkey, I made one stop in Cappadocia, which is where the first city of the Christian church was born out of there, because Roman soldiers were chasing after the Christians, and they actually built their homes and their structures and their first church in the side of a mountain. Like you can still see it today. Like they've inside the mountain is all cut out so that they have like little structures that they could reside in. Super crazy. But anyway, the second thing I'm going to say is just I'm an island girl, and I didn't know this, but just don't keep me on one island. I just love the islands in general. So obviously I love Hawaii. It's where my husband is quote unquote from, but not really. So I love the differences even on the islands of Hawaii. So there's a different feel for like Kauai versus Maui versus Oahu. And I just love all of that and doing adventures on them. I love hiking. I love surfing. I love Barbados. True island life. Super hospitable, super loving. I love the Dominican Republic. Sorry, maybe not so much you, but I just loved my experience on the Dominican Republic. The Virgin Islands. We went and partied with Kenny Chesney when I was in college on St. Thomas. How can you not? Costa Rica. I love the surf. I love ziplining through the rainforest. And my favorite, Tahiti. You get one of those overwater bungalows as we did on our honeymoon. The island of Moorea, you can literally take a moped around in an hour and a half around the entire island. You can go experience the pineapple distilleries. Then you can fly to Bora Bora and get your mind blown with this beauty. And you can take this rented pontoon that only goes 5 miles an hour, and you can take it around the entire inner island, which is just like the mountain itself that erupted. We may or may not have had to get towed back afterwards. But we got to experience snorkeling with hundreds of fish swarming around you all at one time, and water is just blue and crystal and perfectly clear. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
We have found your sweet spot.
We have. I'm an island girl.
Yes, I love it.
Your bottom 3. Take me through. I want to hear your bottom 3 travel and vacation destinations / experiences.
Okay, well, this again is where we have the yin and the yang. My first one would be the Dominican Republic. Yeah. Terrible. It was not a good experience. And if I am even offered a free trip there, I'm going to turn it down.
Really?
Not even to redeem it.
Okay. Okay.
No. We swam with sharks and stingray, and I am super sad that nobody died in that situation.
I see where you're going from here.
I don't know why in natural habitat. It was terrible. So the Dominican, and this one is going to surprise you. Okay.
I'm ready.
Spokane, Washington. It is the land of fruit and nuts. I was training a consultant there, and first of all, she was late picking me up, and that's not Spokane's fault. But it was the craziest little area of location ever, and I did not love it. I didn't, and so Spokane is not.
I've never even been.
Not my thing. Don't.
I mean,
you don't need to.
I don't need to. No. I realize how different this entire state is. So I'll just stay on the western side. I'm good with that.
For sure. Like it's what it is, but it's super like in farming and agriculture and things like that.
Hey, someone needs to make the fruits and the nuts.
Well, for sure. They're doing a good job. I just don't want to go back there. It's fine. It really is. And my other places that I do not like to travel to are gas stations along road trip gas stations that are just sparse.
Like, we know you don't like the coffee.
Right. So yeah, no. I just do not like, especially on a route between Kansas City and like Tyler, Texas. There's too many sketchy places of gas stations that I really thought on more than a dozen times I was going to get kidnapped and be human trafficked, and it was going to be a really sad situation for my family. So that's what I do not like.
I'm so glad that you're here to tell us that story and that didn't actually happen.
I'm
Yikes.
I know I'm here because I have a whistle. No, I'm kidding. Okay, your turn.
All right, I'm going to go with, there's a place, but definitely stories behind it. So the first one, let's just be honest. My view of Texas is extremely low. So most of these are going to happen in Texas, right?
Okay.
So I was playing and living in San Antonio and traveling back from one of our road trips and every road trip you have to dress up. Business casual is the attire. So on this occasion, which might be why I never wear skirts, I wore a skirt on this occasion. Okay. Went to the restroom, got back, sat. I was in like the latter third of the plane. And as we arrived at our destination, we got up and were moving off of the plane. I had my bag over my shoulder, and I kept hearing this lady like, "Miss, miss, miss." And I, more so out of annoyance and frustration, I turned around and was like, "Yes? Like, who's talking to me?" And she goes, "Miss, get your skirt." My skirt was stuck in my underwear.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that I listened to her.
Were you wearing good underwear or were you wearing like...
Oh, probably not.
Okay.
Because it had to be travel comfy underwear.
There's not really a difference. The only other comfy is what you sleep in. So that's okay. I just needed to know that. Okay.
The second one.
So you were wearing granny panties.
Oh, 1,000% cotton granny panties. No question.
Cotton. Okay. That's what she was like. Listen, if you were wearing some fun ones, we'd let it slide.
Then she'd probably start talking to everybody else. Hey, check that out. Look.
She's like, but please cover up those granny panties.
Please.
Okay.
Please. No one needs that. So the second one also happened in Texas. We were in Austin, Texas. This was actually in college. Okay. So this happened on the bus ride. Our bus that always took us from the hotel that we were staying in to the actual arena that we were playing in. So this bus had clear indigestion problems in its guts. So it stalled. It kept stalling It stalled 16 times. I remember sitting in the back of the bus and I raised my hands for every time that it was stalling. And it got so bad that we were running so late to get to the game. Coach Summit told us everybody off the bus. She single-handedly waved down cabs. And she goes, "Starting 5, get in the first cab." And so the starting 5, we all got into the first cab, made it to the arena. The coaches then followed. Everybody else got there afterwards. So we arrived at the arena in time for just the latter part of the warm-ups to start.
Oh, gosh.
And clearly we were all in focus. We got killed that game. Lost positions. It was just horrible, but we went to our game in taxi cabs. The third one, this is kind of like a Debbie Downer. This happened in Indiana, actually. I was flying out from visiting home, and I was on the runway in South Bend Airport. And as I was there, they stopped us from moving, and there was police cars, there was firefighters, and like the engines that were there. And they told us to stay still because there was a charter plane flying in for an immediate landing. We saw it fly in, it bumped on the ground, and it kept going. It didn't land. So we're like, okay, don't know really what happened. Took off, got to Minneapolis where we were flying at that point in time. And when we arrived in Minneapolis, they told us that the plane actually crash landed into a housing addition, crashed into a house, and everybody on the plane died in addition to those in the house that it was staying.
Oh, no.
That was a tearjerker, but definitely on the bottom 3.
Yes. Everybody is involved. Yes. That's not good. That is not a good one. Okay.
Yeah. So let's get back up on the up and up. Woo! Sorry, yes, after that one.
Do.
Top 3 vacation tips. I want to know like what you want people to know as they are preparing to go on vacation. Give us some 3 travel tips that you would have them do.
Okay. I am going to go out on a limb here and say we might be really different on these. So my very first tip, and I practice this, is wash your hair before your trip. So
that's a
let's
good
say
one.
you're flying out on a Friday, wash your hair on Thursday because you can stretch it. Okay.
Yeah.
We all know second day hair, third day hair is pretty good hair, right?
Yeah.
So then you're not having to really mess with it that much. So wash your hair the day before you travel.
It saves you time.
Saves you time. Spray your clothes with your perfume.
Yeah. So you don't have to
Don't
prepare anything?
travel with your perfume bottle because many a time that gets stolen. It just does. There's some sticky fingers out there who like to rifle through things. And if you have a Coco Chanel Mademoiselle that gets stolen, it hurts your feelings. Okay. So spray your clothes. It's really nice because then when you put them on, you're like, oh, it smells so nice. Pack more than you think. This goes counterintuitive to what all these other people are going to say. They are jokers. You do not know if you're going to like that black top. Pack another black top because you're just not sure.
You are the queen of that.
Yeah, like you don't know what your mood's going to be. So just pack a couple extra because then you won't be grumpy that you don't like your outfit. You won't be uncomfortable. You have options. Give yourself a little bit of option. And I learned this. Airport shoes are important. So let's say you're going to a business meeting and you have to be ready to go. Okay, so you've got your shoes. Preferably the ones that I typically wear are my Sam Edelman leather square heels. I love them. They are my go-to. I love them. But if I'm having to really jog myself through the airport, I'm not going to want to wear those because they hurt my feet. So put them in your purse, but bring airport shoes. They can be whatever you want them to be. So airport shoes are important. They don't have to be your business shoes or, whatever you're going to, but super important. I prefer my Chucks. I slip them right on. I love them. I can get where I need to go. The only thing is they make my feet super stinky.
Do you wear socks?
I never.
That's why.
No. So I actually, instead of Chucks, I call them my stinks. And I'm like, I'm packing my stinks.
Pack your stinks, everybody.
And beware, I'm wearing my stinks. I can put them in my washer and dryer and I can wash and dry them, but those are my favorite travel shoes.
Okay, thank you for that. Very wise 3 points that you said. But I have a question regarding the stinks.
Yeah.
Do you wear stinks if you're on a long flight? If you wanted to take off your shoes to get comfortable? Where you cannot do that if you're wearing stinks.
Okay, so here is what you need to know about what I do when I travel. It doesn't matter if it is a short flight to Dallas that's like 1 hour and 20 minutes, or if I'm traveling, across the country. I have to sit in a window seat.
Okay.
I put my earbuds in. I face the window so I do not talk to anybody, and I literally sleep the entire time.
Oh, so you're comfortable no matter what.
I hardly ever get any kind of service, and I have a story about that. And I've learned my lesson.
Are we going to hear that story today?
Yeah,
okay.
I got it kind of sticky. Okay. No, I don't take my shoes off. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I am there for one purpose, is to get a nap in and get me to where I want to go. Okay. That's it.
Enough said. Good.
Great question, though.
Thank you. Okay, my travel tips would be this. Anytime you're looking to travel, whether more so for vacation destinations, go through, guess what? Costco Travel. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Costco Travel is great, guys. Costco Travel gives you major discounts and also major discounts on rental cars. So, number one, go through Costco Travel. First and foremost, before you look anywhere else.
Yes.
Second, buy a digital luggage scale to pre-weigh your luggage when you're at home. So when you get to the airport, you know exactly how much it weighs, so you don't have to, scuffle through your luggage.
Redistribute. Yeah.
And all your goods are there and people can see it and it can be embarrassing. The third one, buy a snack for the stewardess on your planes. My husband taught me this, specifically with Hawaiian Airlines, but it works on all of them. So if you buy your stewardess snacks, flight attendant.
Please, flight attendant.
Flight attendants. Please forgive me. Buy your flight attendants snacks. And they obviously appreciate it. So they, in turn, will help give you full access to videos or to movies if you don't already have it, but also will give you free food and or drinks while you're on the plane.
So give a small little masterclass on how this happens.
Okay, so
how do you do it? What do you say?
I literally go to Trader Joe's. I buy the smoked almonds. They love the smoked almonds. I'm sure they like a lot of other things too. But I mean, just think, you're in a long flight. They're not going to eat. They're not going to do anything. Cookies, goodies from like where you're from, or I always go with the smoked almonds from Trader Joe's. I literally, as I'm sitting down, you will see which one of the flight attendants is serving you specifically. You just hand them and say, this is for you, and all the other flight attendants, we just appreciate your service. And they'll jot down your seat number so they know who did it.
Huh. Okay.
But so then again, if you don't like service, if you just sleep through it, you don't need to do that.
I know, but I'm not going to turn down a free glass of wine. I'm not. That's foolish. So, I'm flying on Friday. Okay. I might try this.
I want you to do it and then report back, please.
Yeah, I think I might. Good.
To be continued.
Like yeah,
give us your bottom three. Do not pass go. Bottom 3 tips for vacation travel.
Again, do not pack your full-size fragrance. That's going to get stolen. It's super sad. Don't do it. Do not trust the duvet comforter in hotels. It doesn't matter
never.
How fancy, how swanky. I will call down and request a blanket and pillows, fresh. So, even if they're like, well, I think you have one in the closet. I'm like, I don't. I probably do, but I'm not. Because you know what happened? The people before you used it, and the housekeeping just tidied that back up and put it in the bag. Yep. So I called down and asked for fresh. So do not trust
That's
that.
Good.
Yeah. Also, and I have only deviated from this one time, and that was at the Hotel Del. So do not trust the hotel robes.
Oh, you have to tell my husband that. He loves those robes.
No. Unless you, again, call down and request a new one.
I can
because
see why.
Then that came from housekeeping. And so I see people who can't wait to get in those robes, and I'm like, you and David and Suzanne and Marsha and Patricia and Boris, they all worn those robes this week. No. And don't ever take a bathtub. No. Ever. No.
I don't trust that either.
Don't do that. Another dislike of vacations that I've been on is I was on this cruise, okay? I have never felt more like a peasant on the Titanic than I did during this cruise. We were in the bows of the boat. I knew for a fact, I was like, if this goes down, the gates go down, we die. It was terrible. It was not fun. I loved the people that I went with. I will stay, and we are still friends. But I really felt like I was a peasant on the Titanic. So it was from start to finish. It was a learning experience for me. And then we went on that west side of Mexico.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's where we went. Yeah. And it rained one day, but I honestly had probably one of the best margaritas of my life. So not all was lost. Not all. Not all. But I will tell you, every night when we had to go downstairs, I was like, oh my gosh. So those are my no's.
Good no's. I would have to agree with you on this. My bottom 3 no's are: 1, never go on the helicopter tour on Kauai.
Right, because you could die. That's
you
true.
could die, vomit, and lose everything in your system because it's rough. These bottom 2 have to do with cruises. So the number 2 thing of do not go on a cruise unless you know what you're getting into. You have to realize that you are on a boat. You are on a boat with other people on other people's time. And if you don't like gambling, if you don't like eating all day, every day, and if it's cold outside, aka on an Alaska cruise, you cannot go outside in the pool and enjoy the sunshine. So just be aware and cognizant of what you're really getting into before you spend the money and you're gone for 7 days. No questions asked. Right.
Now, on the Alaska cruise, was the pool not heated?
It was, but you're in Alaska. It's like snowing outside with glacier things everywhere.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, you could, like, there was a couple of days that it was sunny and we weren't out at sea and it wasn't rocking. So you could actually get in a hot tub. But I would not get in the pool.
Did people do it?
Yeah, but then, again, it's so cold that then it becomes like the cesspool feel because it's like 97 degrees as opposed to like 102. I can't do it.
Barf. Okay, yeah.
So then the last one is don't buy alcohol on cruises.
Oh, right.
You don't do it. It's so freaking expensive.
Spendy. Yeah.
So what you do is you get on Amazon, you purchase rum runners, you fill them before you get on, you put them in your luggage, and you stick it in between your pants while you're packing them in your luggage. And then you carry on.
What's a rum runner?
It's a plastic container that's reusable that you can fill things in. It has a screw-on cap so that it's sealed, but it's not a hard bottle. Like it morphs into like they have different sizes, like 8 ounces up to like 25 ounces or whatever.
Okay.
And it has like a funnel and you can put stuff in them and it can morph to any size, but then you can stick them inside. It's malleable.
So why are you putting it in your pants? I'm so confused.
You do that because...
Is that because you're just on a cruise?
No, because you usually, like your luggage goes through the x-rays. And so when they look through x-rays, they look for the size, right? Like you can tell if you have a bottle of wine in your bag.
Oh, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So they can see like sizes and like formations of things.
You all of a sudden, your calves are ginormous and they're kind of sloshy when you walk. What are you doing?
Not in the pants that you're wearing, the pants in your luggage.
I'm like, you are walking around. What are we doing?
Oh my gosh.
I really thought like we were like mules, like drug mules, and we were just putting them up our butt, putting them in our bra. I'm like, do you look like a joker walking in on this cruise? Oh my gosh.
What's that sound? Oh, that's just Shauna walking in with all of her rum runners.
She's retaining water.
Duct tapes to her body.
I was so confused. You put them in your clothes, so it still is in your luggage.
It's in your luggage, tucked in the pants that are folded inside your luggage bag.
I wonder why this has never made like Rick Steves travel notes. I don't know. I feel like we need to get a hold of
this
him.
Is on YouTube, just YouTube, not Rick Steves. You probably would get fined. It's just on YouTube.
Okay. I have learned so much already. I cannot wait to go on vacation. Okay. So, Shauna, so we're traveling, we're getting to these destinations, but we have to be at an airport, right? And so airports can really take away all your good energy. So what are your tips for airports?
Okay, the 3 things for airport etiquette that you must do.
Okay.
1, help someone if they're struggling putting their bag up in the upper console. Especially like those little old ladies that really have a hard time reaching up. Like, help them out, right?
Yep.
Act like a human being. 2,
right.
Go to the bathroom before you get on the plane.
Absolutely.
3, drink 1 cup of water per hour that you are on the plane ride. This helps with jet lag.
Good one. That is so good.
Thank you.
I am super close to everything that you said. You're not going to believe this. So mine was be spatially aware. When you're waiting in an airplane, any of those things, do that.
Agreed.
Drink water. Drink water.
Look at us.
Oh my gosh, you need it for your skin, all kinds of stuff. Like drink water. So if you do happen to drink alcohol on your plane ride, do not drink alcohol. Mix in some water in there. And like you said, like water. Be kind. Be kind. Goes 100 miles. Like, again, help somebody, smile.
Noted.
Okay, so don't do this.
Okay.
Gosh, for real. Do not bring stinky food on an airplane.
That's true.
Do not bring
Broccoli.
any kind of fish. Yeah. And if you are like, just don't. Stay neutral. Stay super neutral if you're going to bring food in. I had somebody bring in some kind of spicy nastiness that I think it was Chinese food is actually what I think it was. It turned my stomach so bad. It was terrible. We also were served fish on our flight in China, on our inter-country flight. It still had the bones in it. It still had the head on it. It actually makes me want to gag when I think about it. And in China, instead of peanuts, do you know what they serve you?
What?
Pickles. Do you know what you don't want to smell on a Chinese air flight? Pickles.
That's so weird.
So stinky food is horrible, horrible, horrible.
You know what? You know what really stinks? Beef jerky. If you open a bag of beef jerky.
Yeah, sometimes you're right, but I still have to do that sometimes because it's just, you have to.
Be spatially aware, Stephanie.
I know.
Park.
I know. But most of the time I'm sleeping. So,
True.
So here's the other thing. Now, not always, I will say 98% of the time I am getting a window seat.
True.
I am. Like, I have to. However, on times that I haven't, do not overuse the armrest. If you are on one side and you have that armrest, you know what? You're giving up the other armrest. You are. That is the way that it is. You do not get to recline in these places. We are all going to the same destination. Be aware. Be aware. Here's the other thing. I actually had somebody beside me one time watch porn. Yes, I did. Yes, no. I did.
Absolute never do. Never. Don't watch porn on the airplane. Oh my God.
Never.
No
ever.
way.
No. And here is a personal one is do not get too friendly with your seatmates. Again, this is probably why I should just stay sleeping. I honestly traveled weekly for my job and went back and forth on 2 weeks out of the month. I was always flying to Dallas and then flying back. And if I hit this Thursday late night flight flying back, found the same fella every time.
Oh, no.
And
I see where this is going.
Yeah. And was not married, did not have a ring, any of those kind of things, flew totally by myself. And so we first started just by having like conversations like, have you ever been in a place that's so damn hot? Like that's where it started. And and I'm like, I'm over Dallas. I'm, ready to go home, whatever. So one time he said, well, to keep hydrated, can I buy you a glass of wine? And I said, yes. And after that, it was no good. And he asked to buy my Uber on the way home. And I was like, oh, no, this is not going to go well. So my tip is don't get too friendly. Don't do it. Okay. So now it's your turn.
One thing that you absolutely should never do is answer your phone when you're on the plane and speak obnoxiously loud. Nobody wants to hear your conversation.
No.
Nobody cares about your conversation. So don't speak so loudly that you make it everybody's business.
Right.
Number 2.
Now, are you saying not to answer the phone at all or have a live conversation?
You can answer the phone when you get there to the destination. If you need to talk to somebody.
Right.
I mean, there's something called text messaging these days, so maybe use that. But if you absolutely need to call, use your inside voice like you tell your 5-year-old children, right?
You're right.
Number 2. Do not get up more than once if you're not sitting on the aisle.
Agreed.
And you window sitters.
I know. I don't ever get up.
Thank you.
I don't. I really don't.
Because I normally like the aisle. So I can get up, stretch my legs, go to the bathroom if I need. That's probably more my choice. If I'm on a long flight, which let's be honest, anything from Seattle is a long flight. So that's why I always do the aisle. But if it's like extremely long and I know I'm going to be sleeping and I just want to like drift away from the world, I too will get a window. But I also know like I have one opportunity to use the bathroom if needed. Yeah. Because it's respecting not making everybody else get up, right?
Right. No, okay. I agree.
Number 3. Don't make a face or say something to a parent of a screaming child.
Oh.
They can't help it.
That's right.
I don't have kids yet, but I can only imagine when you're traveling on the airplane with a screaming child, you don't want them to scream any more than anybody else is. But what you going to do about it? Help them out.
Yeah. Right.
Be sympathetic.
I agree. Yep.
That's my absolute never do's.
I love it.
Etiquette.
Okay. So I have some great travel stories, but the one that I use, again, like if I need to do an icebreaker, if I need to be like, let me tell you a story. I used to travel Southwest because a lot of my territory was like Oklahoma City, Dallas, and I could get there really quick. And at that point, it was 10 years ago, and I cared differently. Now I'm like, I don't want to fly Southwest. I need to know my seat. I don't want to have to ever go in and have it be a crapshoot. Too much pressure. And to check in 24 hours and know where you're going to get in your number. I was bad at it. But so traveling Southwest, you know how it is with Southwest. Like the windows and the aisles fill up, and then, people are like dreading this middle seat. So this guy sits down on the aisle seat, and he was like, oh, man, what do you think? And like typically I don't talk to anybody on my flights. But this time I did. And I said, I don't know. I do not want anybody to sit in this seat. And he was like, yeah, me either. And I said, again, I go, do you want to play along? And he goes, I do. And I am this story that I am telling you, if I am lying, I am dying. Like this is so true. And he said, yeah, I do. And I said, okay, buckle up. Here we go. So, I don't know what I don't know what got into me, but this is what I did. So people are coming down and they're starting to make eye contact. And I look over at him and I said, if you would have just taken out the trash, I would not be mad at you.
No way.
Yeah.
You start getting in a fight with him.
And he goes, okay, I said, I'm sorry. And I said, I am over it. I am so tired of you saying you're going to take the trash out and you don't take the trash out. And he goes, we got into an argument. And at one point, like, people were like trying to think they were going to get and I slammed my hand on that seat. And I was like, sorry isn't good enough anymore. And I was like, woo! So they file in, everybody skips us, and he goes, my gosh, that was so good. I said, thank you. I know. And I was like, okay. So, put my earbuds in, and he taps me, and he goes, please let me buy you a drink. That was so good.
He owes you big time.
I know. I was like, I appreciate that, but no.
My goodness.
I thank you, but no. Yeah, but that's what we did. So
well
that
done.
is my Southwest story for sure. Yeah. How about you? What's the best travel story?
Oh, my best. I'm going to say it's the best story, but it wasn't pleasant. So the best story is one of those, like, I just couldn't believe it. Where it was, I was traveling to Alaska in January. So I was flying into Anchorage, Alaska, and then I flew from Anchorage to Bethel to a bush on a little puddle jumper plane.
Oh, right.
We were doing a basketball camp there, and this basketball camp was at a gym because it was the only place that had running water, and it was the only place that had heat that wasn't generated by a fire, right? So we stayed on the floor of this gym for 2 nights, 3 days, 2 nights.
You slept there.
Slept there, did the thing there, cooked there, used the bathroom there. Everything is there in this gym.
Okay.
Amazing experience as far as getting to know the people there in that tiny village of 300 people, right? So it's January. It's obviously cold. There's snow everywhere. And got to learn their culture as far as how they use seal oil to warm themselves from the inside out so they can go out then and get their food, catch their fish. Their drinking water consists of carving out ice of water of like a pond or of a lake, and then taking it into a barrel in their house and letting it melt, and that's the drinking water that they use. I mean, like phenomenal things that I can't wrap my mind around. So as we're ending this and we're trying to get back to a flight that we're trying to catch because we needed to get right out of there to go somewhere else, it just so happened that day it was 35 degrees. The year prior to it was negative 35 degrees that same time. So there's like all of this snow, but it happens as it starts to warm up, as we've seen lately, that you get the slush, you get the nastiness.
Right.
Because it was low cloud coverage that day, we couldn't fly out. So they strapped us and all of our luggage onto 3 separate snow machines. And they wanted to take us by snow machine from the Bush little village all the way to Bethel Airport, which was 17 miles.
I have hives, like right now. I do.
It gets worse. So as we're driving on these snow machines, they call them snow machines, not snowmobiles. I get stuck 20 minutes in. I get stuck. I don't, but our luggage that's in this wooden sled gets stuck because on the slush. And when I mean like there's overflow, because it's literally you're on the frozen tundra of Alaska by the Yukon River. And there's water that's going, it looks like you're on a snowmobile or a wave runner jet ski, not a snow machine, because there's like water slushing up everywhere. So I'm freezing, I'm wet, I'm soaked, I'm freezing. It's still cold, but we're stuck. So as they have to turn back around and get a different sled so that we can get all of our luggage, which now is completely drenched in the Yukon River frozen tundra slush. I'm stuck out in the middle of the frozen tundra for an hour. Cold, wet. I'm just standing there waiting on this all to happen. They finally get our luggage on a different sled that is a little bit more aerodynamic so that it can go through the sledge and everything. They get us back on the snow machines 2.5 hours. We are going to, I've never been more cold. I genuinely thought, and I'm not a dramatic person.
Right.
But I genuinely thought that my fingers had frostbite on them. Like it was so cold. I couldn't feel my fingers. I couldn't feel my toes. I was like praying as I'm on the back of this snow machine, just like, Lord, please just get us to this place. So we finally arrived at the airport 2.5 hours later. By this time, we start seeing planes fly over the top of us because it's clearing up a little bit. And we're like, you've got to be kidding me. I could be on that plane, right? So we get to the airport. They take our luggage out of these sleds, and it's water everywhere in the airport. They have to Zamboni the floor of the airport because our luggage is draining water, right? We get there 30 minutes late, and we miss our flight. So we have we're stuck in this airport for 7 hours as we wait on the next flight to get out of there. And we only have one article of clothing apiece that's dry, that we found that was in our luggage that was dry. And so we have on this, we're stuck, and we're stuffed in other people's sleeping bags trying to keep warm in the airport. One of my friends was like jump roping in the airport just trying to stay warm, And then we finally got out of there. We had like connecting flights. It was just like, didn't sleep essentially for like 48 hours. Oh my Frozen. Gosh. Luggage was completely drenched. Everything was ruined. It was the worst experience of my life. And I have not been back to Alaska since.
So, Shauna, we include in every of our episodes the statement, little did I know. So this week, what would you say, little did I know?
Little did I know the stories that I would hear from my friends as we went out to celebrate Antoine's hiring to the fire department. We had a celebration night on Saturday, and a bunch of our friends got together. They wanted to celebrate him, and was super thankful for that. And in that, we had you never know what's going to come out of the mouths of people, especially these friends. And I love it, love it, love it. But we learned, like, one of my friends, when you floss your teeth, you use maybe a little bit of floss. She uses, not joking, she uses about 4 feet of floss every single time that she flosses her teeth.
Wow.
Like I'm talking like
have more teeth than a normal human or?
No, I don't actually know why. And it's a constant thing that we talk about. I even have a picture of her like holding the long strand of floss, which is epic. We have another set of friends that have 2 Bengal tiger cats.
Yes.
And they're called Boo and Tarzan. Well, Tarzan got into a weed brownie. and ate a little bit of it, I guess. And they were sharing how the next day Tarzan was sitting on top of the cat thing, just staring. Didn't move, didn't make a sound. It was just stationary staring the entire time. And then the last one, she made mention.
Eating Fritos.
Yeah. Just munching away, right?
Yeah.
And then the last one, another one of my friends, she wears a night guard at night, as all people should. Protect your teeth.
I thought you were going to say nightgown. Oh.
No, night guard. Guard.
Okay. Yeah.
So she, like they were saying, her husband was saying how she wakes up randomly in the middle of the night. She sleepwalks and talks, but she'll get up during the course of the night. She'll take her night guard and just chuck it across the room, and then she starts screaming. And then they never know where her night guard's going to be in the morning. This is like a regular occurrence.
Oh my
just
gosh.
listening to these stories, and I'm like, where am I? Like, what am I doing? But it was awesome.
Oh, wow.
I just had a great time. So little did I know what all we would entail in the celebration of Antoine's hiring celebration party.
Woohoo! Way to go.
Yay.
I love that.
Yeah, little did I know for you, Steph.
Okay, so little did I know my attachment to my phone.
Okay.
So Saturday, my phone stopped working.
Oh, yeah.
It just went to that phone death signal of just the Apple, and it would just flash every so often. And I was like, what? Why are we doing this? Like, we just went to dinner. I don't understand. So little did I know that iPhones, when you do the update, there is a conspiracy about it that they crash your phone. And little did I know I was going to be a part of that. So I went to AT&T and I told this fella, listen, I just did the update and listen, I'm not surprised. My phone crashed and now I have to buy a new one. He goes, I've heard about this. And I said, I know, me too. So I feel like in my energy that I had on Sunday, I was going to take down the Apple giant. I was so mad. I was so mad and I had to buy the new phone. And I don't really care about technology, but then you need it. And it's such a weirdo thing.
Yep.
So little did I know that Apple is a monster giant, that the vortex of conspiracies that happen when you update. Golly. Well, we hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have. I am Stephanie Parks. You can find me at Steph K. Parks on Instagram, Stephanie Parks on Facebook, and StephKParks.com.
And I'm Shauna Zolman-Mihaly. You can find me there or on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for your support, for your listener support, and please keep giving us your feedback on our social media outlets. And also you can find us at our website at www.stephandshauna.com. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.